96 or check us out online at teamlally.com.
Hey, everybody, this is Attilio with Attilio's Random Thoughts. What were we going to talk about?
Your
That's right, it's random. No, it's not random. So, I want to talk about the fact that there's a gap, and this gap creates pot bellies. This gap creates challenging relationships. This gap creates bad credit. This gap creates stress and drama. And sometimes you just got to take your shirt off. Hawaii, I noticed like local people I was born and raised here. So we all, my kids and stuff like that, especially when you're younger, you just walk around with your shorts in the house. Because I grew up, there was no air conditioning in homes. I grew up born in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. I don't think, like, the only time you saw air conditioning is like at the hotel.
or at the mall.
Yeah, I guess so, at the mall, Windward Mall. But anyway, I mean, I remember going to Sears. This is dating me, and playing Pong at Sears. That was like the highlight of my day. And you got to take your shirt off, relax. And the gap I'm talking about is the gap between what we know, concepts, ideas, theories, and the execution of those things. We know we need to exercise and get sleep and eat right. We won't have, we won't be fluffy unless you're Fluffy Iglesias, who wears a triple XL aloha shirt, and he's a professional comedian. He likes being fluffy.
That's part of his brand.
Yeah. And, we know that there are things that we need to do for our relationships, or things that we need to do for our work, for our business that creates income, cash flow, and all of that. So I want to talk to you about a book called The Four Disciplines of Execution. And they talk about four things. They studied all these businesses and found that there were four things that are components of, not necessarily steps or in a particular order, but things that you need to be aware of to go from idea to execution. And there's no order of importance, but one of them is, if you don't do it, pay somebody to slap you in the head. No, one of them was, take a look at leading indicators, take a look at lagging indicators, have goals. What is it? Wildly important goals.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last one was,
Want to have a scoreboard.
yeah, you want to have a scoreboard. Scoreboard. Now, here's the thing about scoreboards. And we're going to bring on somebody who is he's like an NFL football player. You don't want the NFL football player looking up the scoreboard every 5 seconds. You want the NFL football player on the field, in the game. And talking about somebody who's in the game, you know what that game is? Property management.
We've got Duke Kim Han of Hawaii Pacific Property Management with his tip of the week.
Hey, dude.
Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you.
Yes.
Didn't you play football? You played football, right?
I did. Years ago.
Yeah.
But that in high school, when you're in high school, you never forget those high school times.
Yeah.
Burn into your memory forever. The smell of the field, the
Roar of the crowd.
yeah, all that kind of stuff is so much fun. But as you get into a profession, you want to be the best at it. It's just a way that you want to find somebody who wants to be good at it.
Yeah.
And I find that when owners come to me and they ask me property management questions,
Mm-hmm.
rarely do they ask me about eviction. If you're a property owner, that should be your primary concern, because it doesn't happen very often, but if it will happen to your property management company will pass that expense on to the owner.
Yeah.
So not only do you have eviction expenses, you have no rent to cover it. That's why you're in eviction. And now that the state went into COVID mode, it made everybody go and do a 2-week
Yeah.
So the eviction cost just went up from $5,000 to like $6,000
Oh,
because your attorney has to go and answer all these mediation things and then has to go to the mediation for you.
yeah.
It's just something that I find very odd in the world of property management that owners don't ask me that question right out of the gate. Who covers our eviction costs if there's an eviction in our property? Now, when I went to court, 3 times in 10 years,
Yeah.
there's a line of people lying. The whole docket is full. So from 8 o'clock in the morning when you walk into eviction court, on maybe 8:30 till 4:30 in the afternoon, the docket is full of evictions, one after the other. It's probably like 20. And they call them all out to make sure you're in the courtroom. And if you're last, you're going to wait.
Yeah.
So if that's the case every time I went, it's probably the case every day of the week.
Mm.
So there's a lot of evictions going on. And how do you avoid that is to hire a property manager who's going to ask some really, really tough questions to your tenants before they're allowed to get the keys of your unit.
Yeah. One of them is have any of the past landlords pressed charges?
Do you have any evictions or past evictions on your record?
Yeah.
But you guys actually can verify that. You don't have to wait for their response. It's a
You call all the
verifiable
references.
situation.
We eviction guarantee our tenants. I don't
Yeah.
know anybody else is doing that in our market. I will tell you that if I put a tenant in and there's an eviction on that tenant, then I'll pay the eviction cost to do it.
Yeah.
That's how sure we are.
Yeah.
And those 3 occasions that we have to go to the eviction court, I didn't pay for the eviction.
And took care of it.
Yeah.
And,
And that's saying a lot. Over the last 10 years, only
Yeah.
3 times has, the whole process of screening the tenants, has it, maybe like something was missed or something completely changed in that tenant circumstance that was just unavoidable, right?
This is hundreds and hundreds of
What's
properties.
really interesting is of the 3, one of them was a military eviction.
Yeah.
And the military attorney didn't fight me on that.
Yeah.
So they get free legal.
Mm-hmm.
I think
So
I think when owners don't ask you about evictions, that reminded me of a missing leg. There was this is true story. Had a motivational speaker and she had a missing leg.
Oh yeah.
She didn't talk about it.
It's
She
like-
didn't bring it up. But what do you think everybody's thinking?
Like, what happened to your leg?
What happened to your leg? Gotta ask about the eviction. That's how you should be thinking about it. You should ask.
I
What
think
about
that
evictions?
I think consumers they don't know because they're not educated. They don't
Yeah.
understand the severity of the situation should an eviction happen to them.
sure. It's like when you go and get a job and you're going through the interview, you don't talk about pay.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you assume everybody knows what the pay is, but that's something that's rarely talked about until the end.
Yeah.
When that's the deciding factor all along on who you're going to choose as the person that's going to guarantee that you're not going to have an eviction in there, or at least you're not going to pay for it.
There was a movie called, I think it was Pacific Heights, where this renter it was a renter from hell. Everybody should watch that film as like a scared straight for property owners.
If you're going to be an investor, you must watch this film.
Yeah.
And then let's talk.
100,000 rentalists up on this island.
Yeah.
That's it. And we have people coming from all over the world to live here.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people. I say about 25% of all the applicants we get don't have a social security number.
That can be kind of complicated.
What are
Complicated.
they wanted by the FBI? How come they don't want Social Security?
They're not from the U.S.
Oh, they're not from the U.S.
Right?
Okay.
Only the United States has a social security number.
Gotcha.
So your FICO score is not going to be a FICO score.
Yeah.
It's just going to be a score.
Okay.
It's not going to be an official score. But
Gotcha.
anyway, that's my tip of the week.
Okay.
Excellent tips.
Excellent.
Thank you, Duke.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Don't be afraid to ask a one-legged motivational speaker about what happened to your leg. Same
Or-
thing about evictions.
Yes, about the eviction.
Yeah.
So give Duke and his team a call. You can find them on our website, teamlally.com, under the resource tab and experts we trust.
All right. Next expert that we trust is it's about getting rid of the pests in your life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, ex-boyfriends, ex-girlfriends that they just don't want to let go. No, not that kind of pests. What kind of pests, Adrian?
The bugs, the rodents, birds, you name it, they
What?
cover it.
Taylor, Kilauea Pest Control. What's the weirdest pest that you guys have had to get rid of?
Well, if I were to be right in here,
That karaoke neighbor. Yeah, fog them out. Yeah.
No, I was actually thinking of it, trying to think of a unique pest to talk about this week.
Yeah.
No.
Powder post beetles? No, they came after the beetles? What?
The powder post beetles, they are wood-borne beetles. So
Yeah.
they would kind of like termites, right? But they're a totally different thing, right? So termite droppings, dry-wood termite droppings, so it's almost like ants kind of larger inside compared to powder post beetles. Powder post beetles, they're dropping. It's kind of a fine powdery, almost like sawdust, very fine powder, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
and they're kind of unique in the sense that they're super resistant. I would say out of all the bugs in Hawaii and most places,
Yeah.
they're the hardest one to kill. They're so resistant. So to put that in context, so when you need to get a house for dry-wood termites, there's a certain amount of lighting gas that's used to make sure that the whole house saturates with the kill the colony inside of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a powder post beetle takes 10 times the amount of gas that dry-wood termites they kill.
Oh,
Wow.
wow.
Think about that. Lighting gas, like, there's a reason why you stay out of the house for a night or a couple nights depending on the type of bug. Because it's pretty toxic, right? But it needs to be to kill the bug. And so powder post beetles are very resilient. And the complicated thing further is there's such thing as called powder post beetle and a false powder post beetle. And they take different concentrations of gas and take the time and also follow-up services to look at. So I can give you that more if you want. Maybe it's kind of boring for you, but the moral story, there's some weird unique bugs like that in Hawaii, and sometimes they attack the termites or not related, or just like an ant or something, but they already eat your blood and they will spread your
Taylor, how often do you guys come across these powder post beetles? Are they very rare or pretty frequently?
we do a decent amount of treatment. So something that we do differently, like we can provide fumigation, and sometimes that is a good way to do it. Sometimes it's false fumigation, so you're actually transporting that piece of furniture to like a shipping container, something that we have a lot,
Mm.
and that thing.
Yeah.
One thing that we do differently, we do quite a bit of that. Too many companies do is we do orange oil treatment, and orange oil is one of the few, probably the only treatment that we have confidence in design fumigation to kill powder post beetles, just if we set it correctly.
Yeah.
And in the right way with someone who knows what they're looking at, because if you miss the spot, then you know nothing's going to happen. So it takes some expertise. They're kind of one that really takes a professional eye to know how to
See,
get rid of, right?
you have the
So hard to
powder post beetle and the false powder post vehicle. Have you been catfished by a false
Powder
powder
post
post beetle?
beetle.
You've been catfished by them? You thought it was the real one?
actually, it does happen.
Okay.
Like there's beetles that get sometimes those get mislabeled as a powder post beetle. There's some weird complications that happen with
Yeah.
that. When you get a house full of powder post beetles, and they take all their food out of their pantry,
Yeah.
and then they bring all back in like beetles the good way versus all the beetles running right back in. They think it didn't work, so they just
They put them in the
the big thing and then brought it right back.
it was in the loaf of bread, so they went away for a witness protection program and unidentified location, and then they came right back.
Exactly.
So
Well, thank you, Taylor. Excellent tip. And it was nice to learn about these powder post beetles and what to look for, and to know that
Yeah.
Kilauea Pest Control has a
and
plan.
handle.
Yes,
They got this guy named Randall, and he can handle
that's right.
10 times more of the fumigant. And anyway, so thanks so much, Taylor.
Thank you. Okay, so to get a hold of Taylor and the Kilauea Pest Control team, you just got to go to our website and click on the resource tab and click that experts we trust.
Go to the resource tab. We put things on there that are, truly resourceful resources that you can take a look at. And we've done the homework. Hey, if you're a realtor out there, you don't want to spend all that time doing the homework. You can use our
Borrow
guys too.
ours. Yeah.
You can borrow. Put them back when you're done. Next up,
We've got Bradley Maruyama from Allstate Insurance with his tip of the week.
tip of the week. Hey, Bradley.
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
Awesome.
I think a couple of people talked about what insured and condo claims, and making sure that you have the right building coverage and flood coverage for your mutual fix or condo policy.
Yeah.
There wasn't renter's insurance, and so very expensive. Where does that money come from for that tenant to be relocated with a condo being mitigated for water and construction, like something with renter's insurance?
Yeah.
But now let's go to C2. We always talk about the woman insurance. So now we have this condo and this small association also has a policy company, but now this thing was ended. So my insurance company had what do we do? The stuff that I didn't have. So it's very important to go to property manager, whether it's a couple or someone if the resident manager is your insurance agent. Also get insurance agent all
Mm-hmm.
reason why it's important is so many times there's one party times two and times four.
Yeah.
But in this case, I was able to just once I got all the information, I was able to tie all five parties together. Where does the bill go for it? Does the insurance get out of pocket first? So within 3 hours, we will be able to get insurance. Contact or all the bills go and where do the estimate email to us how for 2 weeks before insurance so that will take care of it.
Yeah.
And also contact. So once you start getting in trouble, it's very important. You're getting it right as soon as possible. Try to get all 4 parties involved yourself. So your insurance agent will help advocate, give you that good
Yeah.
experience. There's a lot there, but it's very important. If it's not, your claim is going to drag on from 1 month, 2 weeks, from 2 weeks to a month, 2 months. So now you're frustrated.
Well, you know what's the red flag in that situation? Pay attention, folks. If you're talking to the association manager and they're like, and you ask them, hey, is this covered? And if he says, shoots, that's on red flag.
So Bradley, what you're saying is that communication and getting everybody on the same page and email string is highly important to make sure that the process keeps going instead of, one person thinking someone else is doing something, but if we're all in this email chain and communication together, it's going to get resolved a lot faster.
Watch the Abbott and Costello routine of who's on first.
Yeah.
You know what we're talking about. Yeah. Recap emails are important.
A couple weeks ago, we were talking about how to
Yeah.
when you first file the thing, try to get the bylaws to your insurance.
Yeah.
The bylaws will help distinguish which party is going to be at fault. So is it going to be the insurance policy above you? Is it going to be the insurance policy below you? Or is it going to be the association? So that bylaw, if the bylaw to the insurance adjuster or to the agent, can be very effective.
Yeah.
If it's not, that's what opens up a lot of claims. Now you start seeing things out of pocket. Just because you gotta keep taking moves, you gotta keep taking water. So, the more information your insurance agent has, the more efficient things are.
Yeah, and you got to get it taken right away. You're not going to be sitting around waiting for somebody who told you shoots, and then you're waiting for a return call or emails or any even action taken upon those emails and phone calls. We had just remodeled a unit, still remember Pat Sip Honolulu. And then it just was all finished. Everything was brand new. And then came one time to the unit. It was about an inch of water everywhere. Luckily, we had tile, but had bits of rice in it. And I was like, what is this? Somebody was making one cup noodle, like 155-gallon drum of cup noodle, and they spilled it all over the floor. No, what it was the main sewer line. We're on the ground floor, had backed up. But all the people above were people that had lived there. Ours was vacant. And so people, the dishwashers, their kitchen sink is all going in the pipe. And then it's backing up. And the low point of all those in that stack was our unit on the ground floor. So that's where all the stuff was overflowing. They're like happy, they're washing dishes, no big deal, because it's all backing up into our unit. So anyway, good thing we had insurance in place. It was called Attilio with a mop bucket. But anyway, we cleaned it up right away and it got taken care of. So, but that's important to have the insurance in place, because if we hadn't been there, or maybe we hadn't been there for months, no one would know.
That would have been pretty gross.
Yeah. And the tenants above would
Mold,
be,
yeah.
They wouldn't know, right? Because everything's working fine for them. But anyway, it's important to make sure that you've got that insurance and that you know what to do at what Bradley calls the moment of truth. Adrian, why do we like to call it the moment of truth in regards to Bradley?
Well, because it's basically, when you actually need that insurance, that the insurance agent,
well, we
Bradley,
personally know that Bradley will follow through.
Yeah, like he shows up, he's on the phone, he's right there by your side, no matter the day or the time. Because a lot of times when you need to use the insurance, it's an emergency. There's some kind of, major damage.
And you know what? When Bradley says shoot, you can take that to the bank.
That's right.
All right.
Well, thank you, Bradley.
Thanks, Bradley.
All right, so look for Bradley on teamlally.com on the resource tab under experts we trust. You want to do a couple of our recent reviews before we take a break?
Yeah.
So, okay, yeah. So we helped a client, Erica and Kawi Inimoto, and what they had to say was, we had such a positive experience working with Team Lally. We felt there was a great communication along each phase of our selling of our home, and we couldn't have asked for a better team helping us. We would highly recommend Team Lally for all of your buying and selling needs.
Yeah, hey folks, don't take our word for it. Go to our website. You can, or
go to Google. You'll see all the reviews.
Team Lally.
Yeah.
We have no control over the internet. Nobody does, except for the internet people, whoever they may be. But anyway, Google Team Lally. Check out our reviews. I think we've got, what are we up to? About 400?
We have over 400.
Over 400
something. Yep.
Positive reviews.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of which, we are about to take a break, but stay with us. When we come back, we'll be talking to a successful radio personality and a member of the Honolulu City Council, Augie T, in the house. We'll talk about the latest updates and events from him and how he celebrated Labor Day.
Stay with us.
Well, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Things may have changed in the sports world. The games must go on. Look, I invest in real estate all over America, and right now, with the ultra low interest rates everywhere, if you're serious about selling your home, you need to talk to my friends, Adrian
page needs to be updated.
Yep.
Augie needs to be on there. Tisha needs to be there. And those Clay and Buck needs to be removed.
That's teamlally.com. And start packing. It's your friend Sean Hannity, and as you know, I am not afraid to be honest and say exactly what I feel. When it comes to selling your home, you need to know there are real estate agents out there that don't rely on yard signs. Call in a few $100 a month. To make this very easy for you, I tell you about a team of real estate agents whose marketing plan is a whole different thing than anyone else you will talk to. We're talking about Lally and Attilio.
Just Augie.
Lally Real Estate Group, Keller Williams, Honolulu.
Augie and who else? No, Clay and Buck
Tisha,
need to come out.
Augie and Tisha need to be added. And that Clay and Buck need to be removed. And then they can put our new updated picture with Barbara in the middle. There's some kind of problem with the audio. It was
On the
fine.
guests?
It was fine before. Now it's low. It was fine when Duke called in, and now it's low.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. If something needs to be adjusted.
Yeah.
The Team Lally Real Estate Show continues.
Welcome back, and thanks for listening to the Team Lally Real Estate Show, home of the Guaranteed Sold program. We'll buy it. I'm Adrian.
And I'm Attilio.
And if you have any questions, just give us a call at 799-9596 or check us out online at teamlally.com.
Our guest today is an American politician and a member of the Honolulu City Council. He started his career in comedy in the 1990s, but came to prominence in the 2000s.
Augie was born in 1968 and is the second oldest of 6 children. He grew up in the Kamehameha 5 housing project known as to the Hawaii residents as Camp 5 housing in Kalihi Valley, a working class area in urban Honolulu. He became a Golden Gloves champion boxer at age 16.
In 2002, Augie was voted Comedian of the Year as the funniest comic in Hawaii by the Honolulu Star Bulletin and midweek newspapers. He's the only local comedian to sell out the Blaisdell Arena, Augie T, Blaisdell Arena show. Oh, you have a DVD,
Mm-hmm.
and is recognized as one of Hawaii's top 100 influential Filipinos with an exhibit at the Bishop Museum.
Wow. I did not know that.
And he has
Bishop
a
Museum.
he has a brass statue in Waikiki. Oh wait, no, that's the Duke. Sorry,
Maybe that's coming next.
that's some different Filipino.
That's later.
Tukanamoku. Anyway, Augie, are you there?
That was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
You like to saw that?
You know what? This is like in the 50s. You know, they had that show. This is your life.
You're quite an amazing guy.
Mine, yeah.
And you still got more in you. I think the best is yet to come.
Yes. So Augie, the I know this is what's the disclaimer we got to get out of the way. This is not
This is not endorsed by the city and county of Honolulu.
so that reminds me of this.
Yes.
Yes, not
Disclaimer.
endorsed by the city and county of Honolulu, but
endorsed by Adrian and Attilio.
I gotta
from
tell you
Team
this.
Lally.
I yeah. All right.
You guys are giving so much information, and first off, I want to say thank you guys for the Team Lally for giving kids to come to the show.
Yes.
I appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
Laugh with Aloha. Let's talk a little bit more about that, Augie, and how our listeners can support and help this very important cause.
The Hawaii Theater?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so what happened was, with the help of great sponsorships,
Yeah.
after being locked down for almost 2 years, it felt like it was a need to come back and do something, get people out of their homes, sitting down, laughing. And so the theater, I had to rent the theater for a day. And I was like, man, that's a lot of friends to rent the theater. So I was
Yeah.
like, you guys should help me out and do something cool. Some bad thing, invite first responders, invite, from Tuna, families that have assisted, that, of course, the military. And they were like, yeah, we can do something like that. Why?
Yeah.
I wanna do tickets at $10. Can we do the $10 ticket? Because we all know, like, the historic Hawaii Theater, the beautiful renovation, and they're trying to keep the theater pristine.
They got nice chairs. Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
So, many of us have never been to the theater. One of the things that really inspired me as a young man growing up in Kalihi was I was introduced to a art at a very young age.
Yeah.
And I went to a theater show and it blew my mind, and that changed the way I saw life, and what I wanted to become. So I just felt like it was a great opportunity to bring people to the theater, and witness, entertainment, a performance, and hopefully, inspire, kids in there, when I check up on like what I've done in my past, and I got a cool story of how it all started.
Yeah.
And it was coming to a performance and, watching an entertainer like blow me away. And I went, in fourth grade, like I told myself, that's what I want to become. I want to become a stand-up comedian.
Oh wow.
Because I was brought to performance. Since, my teacher, introduced me. I grew up in public housing. So going to these performances was like almost, job.
It was like you're sitting at home, no more AC, sweating your collar off. You come to this thing, you're like, oh wow,
He was sitting in his
air
BBDs.
conditioning. You're sitting at home in his BBDs, but
Yeah.
we put pants on for the show.
Yeah,
Put
put the
the pants
pants on.
For the show. I saw I was on in Ever Beach and I saw some graffiti and it said "Got BBDs." I'm like, who is walking around with no underwear? That they have to have this reminder, "Got BBDs." Yeah. Well, after the pandemic, I went commando. Just kidding. No, I'm not. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
Augie, is there still tickets available for
For
the
the
night
matinee?
for the nighttime show?
Well, yeah, either of the
Or
show.
the mhm.
Yes.
That's a
You
bargain.
spend more. You spend more money at the movies.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
Ooh.
Yes. Yeah. I remember. Yeah. I just remember in the beginning I said, Augie, when you say shoots to everything, you're saying shoots to nothing.
Mm-hmm. So you got some time blocking. He has some time blocking and time
So
management that's
You
going
gotta
on.
use this word
Yes.
from Waianae. No. Oh, can you come do this? Can you come do that? Can you come do this? And then over there. And it's all at the same time in 3 parts of the island. No.
So
Yeah. 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 No. Yeah. Yes.
So, okay, so you have a radio morning show. What channel can our listeners find you on and listen to you? And from what time to
Where
what
on the
time?
dial?
Yeah, where can they tune in for more Augie?
Deep Purple, Judas Priest. No. It's more of like the.
No, I like to listen to you guys on my way into the gym.
Yeah.
Because we go to our 6:15 workout every morning at F45 and
Yeah.
always listening to Augie.
And
Start my day.
well, I think what's important for you in your political position, this show is not endorsed by City County of Honolulu, is that you really have your finger on the pulse of what's going on in the community because you're in the community, you're in the trenches, as we say.
Serving the community.
Yeah.
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 Having great private and public partnerships,
Yes.
working with nonprofits. I think that's the most exciting part about being in this position. I already did that prior to coming into office.
Yeah.
The office, really need to put the right people in the room and go, what can we do to help change our community? Like really
Yeah.
change our community. So like that's the one thing that I'm like so thankful for that. It gave me that opportunity.
Well, Abraham Lincoln said you can't keep all the people happy all of the time. And Uncle Willie from Kalihi, he said, you can't piss off some of the people some of the time, but you can piss off all of the people all of the time. No. That was it. So with the first one, can't keep all the people happy all of the time. And you got to realize that, right? Because if you're trying to keep everybody happy, it's not.
It's impossible.
It's not
That's
realistic.
impossible. Mhm.
I keep them. It's like I'm a boxer. You got to keep you on the ropes, keep you on your toes, keep you on your toes.
He gets sidetracked a lot.
Yeah.
So we gotta just bring him back.
My favorite line is, what was I talking about?
Yes.
People always help me out.
Okay, so back to the Laugh with Aloha. That's
Yeah.
on September 17th is the date, and you have an afternoon show and an evening show. There's still tickets available. We have reduced price tickets for our first responders, military, kapuna, and
Yeah.
families with assistance. Mhm.
Yeah, you just show your card, and you get $10 ticket. With the fee, I'm excited about this one because it's a new routine, and of course, you
Yeah.
got so many classic favorites. It's like going to watch rain, Purple Rain. So, I understand that, but I'm having so much fun, and I never realized because there was a side of me 2.5 years ago when I said this will be my last show.
Yeah.
Small party. And I was really serious because I wanted to, get focused and really learning how to do this job good, city council. But after being locked up like most people, and I realized how much I missed out and how much so important in my life.
I know. I remember you went to your parole officer and said, I got to do new things because you was locked up. We don't mean that locked up. We mean like the COVID, right? Home sheltering.
I'm sure you got lots of fun new stories to share that are like quite hilarious.
Yeah.
It was my wife. She was like, "You have quality time," and we had quantity time, and she just wanted to keep going.
He's like, too much quality time.
So
Too much now.
Yeah.
Augie, I gotta ask. So is the matinee show? Is it like more of a clean comedy, and then evening is, or they're both the same? It's all clean.
One of the things that I'm so thankful for is that I've always worked clean.
Yeah.
Mm.
And so the daytime show is just something, like I said, it's a give back show, and I know that majority of the people that will be in that show, your sponsors, supporting a group or giving the tickets away to people.
Yeah.
Need to laugh. So like I'm looking for the show that's not different, the same show. So I'm ready to. I've been doing all these small shows. Following me on social media.
Yeah.
I've been going to places like Kohala,
Mm.
places like Pahala, like because I'm like another comic. I can't just show up, to do like an open mic. People would expect, 100% audience for me. I felt like I needed to work on my routine, and I needed stage time. And the only way I could get stage time is like go find small neighborhoods and charge $10 and go work out. So
Yeah.
work out last couple of weeks, jumping on stage and really fine tuning this show. So I'm excited about it. I'm looking forward to making a lot of people laugh.
What I love about Augie, he's so dedicated. He even went knee how and he did his whole show in Hawaiian. He even hiked down to Kalaupapa, the highest sea cliffs in the world. He hiked all the way down to do a show.
No, but for real though, he did go.
Yeah.
He went out to youth. He went out to Youth Challenge. I know
Yeah.
that you go out to Youth Challenge quite frequently, and you speak to those kids and inspire them and make them laugh. So
Yeah.
thank you for doing that.
Yeah, no, I love going there because, in some small way, that was Attilio
Mhm.
20, 30 years ago.
Inspiring little Attilios
Like,
at Youth Challenge.
I'm really happy to be here at Koholave. All you bomb creators, I'm glad you came out to see my show today. But I think humor. I think what people really are attracted to you and why they want to follow and you're a good leader is that we see the same thing about us in real estate. We don't take ourselves seriously, but we take what we do seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, and I realized that, it's much more than just, getting on stage. I mean, it's a business.
Yeah.
And, you need to take care of your business. And I mean, last 30 years, I was doing it when I had to walk around, put posters around town,
Yeah.
trying to think, anybody's radio show now. The kids get the social media, their person, they become stars.
Yeah.
To last this long, 30 years, it's just a testament of hard work. No bragging. It's just, I walk into places and I used to get the same feeling. It's blown away that people can spend some money to watch a guy talk and tell stories. And I think that's the coolest thing to do. I think it's the coolest business anybody can get into. So, if some kid or someone gets inspired to some big Saturday, I did. I did what I think God has planted me on this planet to do is to make people laugh. And, hopefully, by the next generation of local comics and,
Well, Augie, that's how I look at it is you have a profession and a trade that very few people are successful at. We were in New York City, right? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we're in Greenwich Village.
We went to all the
Mount
clubs.
Everest of comedy,
Mm-hmm.
comedy places. You'd be out there and Dave Chappelle might show up or Jerry Seinfeld or any of these guys, and they're really testing out their comedy. And most of these guys are they're working the door, they're handing out flyers,
They're hustling.
they're hustling. For you, you're hustling in a different way and giving back to the community, and that it's not just one comedy thing after another thing, and you're just trying to build up yourself as an entertainer. You are playing at the one of the toughest gigs on the planet, which is down at the city council, and having to partake in the all of that decision making down there, which is critically important for our community.
Augie, do you use humor to get through to the others when you're trying to get your point across to get them on your side?
Sometimes.
it's an interesting place because I tried, give you guys an example. A couple months into, organization,
Yeah.
I did on the parks committee, and I chaired the parks, and Mexico gave us a gift of a hippopotamus. And I'm going through the whole process. You have to hear from the director from the zoo, the administration, and you ask questions like, is the hippopotamus going to be time? They answer in a very, and that's like everybody has a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Talking like kid and talking abbreviations and you have to learn how to fit in. And then, after asking is there any reservations, anybody else want to speak? Okay, then I did the whole
It was giving you the setup.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a creative industry.
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest reasons why I love doing it is because I can learn, and I'm a people watcher, so I'm learning from so much different people, so much great leaders, and interesting people in our community.
Yeah.
I listen to them, everybody has some unique ideas. People get some great solutions, and that's the cool thing about doing it because now I get to be a part of an amazing discussion that maybe can help change policy. And at the end of the day, we want to make our lives easier.
Yeah.
And that's what I fight for every day. I tell them. So,
Yeah. I mean, how can you stay focused on that topic? I mean, all I would be thinking about was that happy hippopotamus game.
The hungry hippos.
Hungry hippo game. And like, that's what I would be thinking the whole time they're talking about this hippopotamus. They'd be like directing a question. City Councilman Leonardi. I was distracted. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
That's why I love being the chair of parks because I want to, I walk through our park.
Well, and then I think we're gonna support you with a park cleanup
Yes.
on the shout outs on that. So we need to do some
We'll
park
come
cleanups.
join you in Eva Beach or Kapolei, wherever. You let us know. We'll be there.
Just like when we have our best guests on the show, time runs out and we are out of time.
So until next time, Augie.
Yeah.
Well, get back to work.
All right. Thanks,
you,
Augie. All right.
All right. Well, thank you for listening, and thank you to our sponsors.
Jody and Derek of Pacific Rim Mortgage.
Bradley with Allstate Insurance.
Kenji with Pillar to Post Home Inspections.
John with Kilauea Pest Control.
Duke with Hawaii Pacific Property Management.
Kyle with Impact Wealth Solutions.
Robinson with Fine Line Paintworks.
Chastity of American Floor and Home.
Jake with Skytech Construction, Roofing and Solar.
Ryan with Zero Res Hawaii.
If you want to get a hold of any of our sponsors, just go to teamlally.com.
We also want to give a big thank you to Leah Rodriguez, our producer here in the studio.
Yee-hoo!
Make sure to tune in next week. We'll have an awesome guest talking about something that'll change your life.
Forever! This is the Team Lally Real Estate Show, home of the guaranteed
Sold
program.
If we can't sell your home at the agreed upon price and your time frame, we'll have it bought for cash.
Thanks and aloha. Okay, keep waving while I'm waiting.
I hope they're going to maybe take off